how would you advise for people at their stage early of their career, feeling lost and not sure what kind of path to choose? How would be your advice like?
Don't be afraid to try, I think.
Okay, don't be afraid. All right, hello Andrew. Welcome to my Traven interview series.
Hey, hi.
Nice to meet you. We have met for many years. I think it was like 2013, 14. That's easily 6 years ago, right?
Yeah,
so just to share with you my agenda as well, or my objective for today's session, because it's my series to interview talents from different industry across seniority. So for yourself, I know that you actually worked for a few years, and then you actually took on a master for a few years at Australia, right? Was it Melbourne, like your background right now?
Yeah, it's Melbourne.
Okay,
it's a nice
cool.
place.
Yeah, so I recall that you actually took on a master course for a few years, and then you come back to Singapore, which is pursuing your passion in the audiology space, right? So would be good definitely for you to share about your experience. Maybe you can start off by sharing with us a bit of your background, and later we can understand more about what motivates you to have that decision. All right. So could you tell us your brief background?
Okay, so I graduated in biomedical science from NUS. I think it's 2012. 2012, back in 2012. And then subsequently, after I graduate, I hold a few jobs. Okay. So because like I think like most graduates, I wasn't very sure what to do. I mean, besides like going into the field, which is medical science. So I explored like different fields. So I took on different contract jobs, try different things, both in office and in the lab, as well as like science-related and non-science related contract work. I think 3 of them. So about 1+ years in total.
What was the reason you took on like a few contract jobs instead of like focusing on one full-time role? Was it because you were not clear about what you really want to do in this industry, or what was the case?
Actually, my first ever job was like totally not related at all. So I went in just because of the salary and maybe the job stability. And then, but then when I went in, right, it's like a kind of full-time job. So it's quite bad. Like within the probation period, right, I feel like I wasn't very sure. Like, I don't think I like that job. Okay. So I quickly leave so that I can catch up with my peers to find other jobs before all the jobs get picked up. So within a short time I left, within the probation period I left. And then but I could only find like contract jobs at that time. I think that time quite bad. I don't know why. Around 2012, 2013 that time. So I took on like few months kind of contract jobs. So in total about 3 different contract jobs. Yeah. Okay. So I think the last one was the longest one, which is in like this clinical research company. So this is working with like pharmaceutical companies for clinical trials. Was in there for 10 months. And that was when I found what I want to do. Because like for 1+ years, I was very lost, especially after I quit from a job I thought was good.
I think that's very common when people graduate from the university and then they enter their first job or second job. Basically, in their first few years, they feel a bit of loss. So at the point, how do you feel, and actually how do you then overcome, to make progress, to break out from that cycle?
Definitely felt lost. I talked to a lot of people. Yeah, so I talked to people in the same company. Mainly bosses and also some colleagues to give me insights because they are much more experienced. Yeah, they are like director level and whatnot. So they know and they can have connections and network. So I thought like they can connect me to relevant people. And then very nice people. So I get to speak to them, and also like some of my friends, and also my parents. But my parents, they are not so open to this kind of sort of thing. They were not able to give me very relevant advice. All they told me is to stay in one job and then work at it, work hard, kind of thing, which is not wrong. But then I feel that there's more than that, because I can feel like that there's more than that which I wanted. So I spoke to like different people, and then I got like got to get to know different things, and then that's when I got to know my interest in healthcare.
Oh, okay.
So with my medical background, right, it's quite relatable. It's not like way off. So I still stand a chance to go into healthcare field from a biomedical science field. So I went to do research, a lot of research. I went to find out what are the different healthcare jobs online at first. And then after that, I emailed some of the public hospitals to ask them for like a job shadow. That means like half a day or a full day following them and see what they exactly
So they should
what they
allow
do.
you to do so.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. SGH. So I actually
okay,
went
nice.
there half a day. Yeah, I went to job shadow like a physiotherapist. Yeah,
So that helps you
physiotherapist.
to get a better understanding on how the actual scope, like how's the actual day-to-day of.
Correct. I also job shadow audiologist lah. So different type of the field in the allied health. Of course, I don't have to job shadow doctors and nurses lah, because I know roughly what they do. Yeah. So long story short, I got interested. So I applied for Melbourne Uni, and I got accepted lah among like other Australian uni. So I went to Melbourne Uni, and that's when I began my studies for the
How long was that course?
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
2014 to 2015.
So it's a full-time master course, right?
Yeah, full-time.
Okay. So looking back, do you think it's actually like worthwhile, or do you think master is actually necessary? I think that's can be a pretty common question that I'm hearing from some of my friends who just graduated.
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, is it worthwhile, right? Definitely worthwhile. So basically the experience is worth a lot of money already. So the experience of like being in overseas country, maybe not just Melbourne, overseas, you get to learn just the course itself, but also being independent, life skills lah. Basically how to live alone, how to like manage your own stuff and whatnot. Why masters? Because I think masters is subjective lah, because it depends on what field you are in.
Correct.
Yeah, for audiology, for my field now is master's level. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I were to go into a bachelor's level, right, I would have to go for different route or something like that. I'm not very sure, but then for Singapore, right, most is masters lah. NUS also just quite recently started the master's course also for my field.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think
do
you think having that master itself actually giving you the unfair advantage in your career, or do you think one can actually enter the industry with just a bachelor?
Again, is depending on the industry. So for my industry, I think masters might be better.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think because in US, right, for example, US has this specialized as in like also audiology field clinical audiology, which is exactly what I study, but their level is they graduate with a PhD. So they graduate with a doctorate title. And US, like for example, if I were to go to US, right, I cannot work there because they need their own graduate from their own system, at least a doctorate level. Yeah, so in Singapore, masters might have, currently no, but maybe next time they might have they require everyone to be of a master's level just to standardize the what you call that, the standard. Yeah, everyone must be around the same because Singapore is very strict on healthcare and stuff. Yeah.
So actually, when you first thought of this decision, at a cross junction years ago, do you think this is actually driven by more of a passion in this industry, or also in consideration of like this industry with a master able to give you a better career trajectory, whether it's income, salary wise? What really drives you? Do you think pursuing passion alone is actually sufficient, or in fact this your choice in audiology also give you a good career path in terms of salary, etc.?
Okay, actually at the time when I went in, right, I didn't think so much. It's more like passion driven.
Okay, passion driven.
Yeah, it's more passion driven because at that point I was so lost. I was like, if I know what to do already, right, I'll go for it. Yeah, because I spent a lot of energy and time figuring that out. So that's why the job shadow is very useful. So I went into audiology not because it's the best job that gives me the best, like the salary and career progression, but it's more for like passion, and it's closer to what I want to do. I won't say it's perfect because I don't think anything is
True, true,
perfect.
true.
Currently, I still enjoy what I do. I think that's the most important.
So how many years have you been working since your graduation from the master itself?
About 4+ years since I'm back from Melbourne.
Time flies, 4+ years. So
Yeah,
overall, how would you then, and with your total of like 6 years of experience, right? So and with your decision to take a master, etc., how would you then advise for someone who maybe just graduated from the university and they may have maybe worked for a few years and deciding whether they should pursue the path of like taking a master with both just additional cost to them, tuition fee, and also additional time, like for example 2-3 years. How would you advise people generally, may not be in the medical field like yourself, but generally, how would you advise for people at their stage early of their career, feeling lost and not sure what kind of path to choose? How would be your advice like?
Don't be afraid to try, I think.
Okay, don't be afraid to
don't
try.
be afraid to try. So try, for example, for myself, I did contract jobs. At that point of time, I was like, why is it contract job? So I can't get full-time job. I was so sad, But I think I thank God that they are contract jobs because I get to move to another one.
With a valid reason, right?
Yeah, so I get to try different things. And at that point of time, right, each time I try, I know what I don't like.
Correct. I think this is very true.
Yeah.
In fact, from another person which I have the interview with, right? So the person also advised me like, it's pretty common. A lot of people may not know what their passion is about, before 30. But I think one thing one person must do is at least you need to know what's not for you, right? What's not, what you don't like. That's at the start. All right, great.
Exactly, yeah. So with elimination, right, sooner or later you will eliminate enough to get a sense of, maybe not perfect, but a sense of what you might want to do, and you just go for it and don't look back. So I've never looked back, and I am very happy like what I'm doing now.
Okay, that's great.
Sorry, maybe I add one more thing about the masters. About just now I said passion, right?
Sure.
Actually, another thing that drove me to do masters was because I had a bachelor's degree. So I find that it's a bit wasted to do another unrelated bachelor's degree, if you know what I mean. So it's like restarting. So I didn't want to. So I wanted a step up. So this was a bonus for me that I could find something of a step up, like from a bachelor's to master's. And at the same time, I'm also driven by more of a passion.
Okay, how about let's move forward to right now. At this point, with total of about 6 years of work experience, including excluding your with additional 2 years of master. So right now, how would you plan for your career for your next 5 years, 10 years? Do you have any plan, or how do you go about it?
Oh yeah, so this is more field specific again. So for my field, I can work in like clinics and hospitals, both private and public. So which is pretty good in a sense. So currently I'm in private hospital, private clinic, but it's kind of having a public hospital system. I don't know how to put it, but it's more like in between the half. So I have thought of it before. So 5 to 10 years later, I could either go either way. So I can go to public hospital, or I can go to a more private clinic settings. So I think I'm leaning towards the clinic settings which is more commission based. So I think that would be involving a bit more of a sales and commission. But my earning bracket will be even higher, I guess. So so that's what I'm looking at.
Okay, sounds great. So how about also, I know that we got connected also years ago, I think a year plus, whereby you're aware that I am actually hosting a career by design workshop, whereby you approached me to ask for advice, whether it's a salary increment, and also like how do you actually plan for it, right? So what was your key takeaway? Because I shared so many things, from resume writing, from even salary negotiation tips. So I don't know, for yourself, what do you think is the biggest takeaway from my sharing?
My biggest takeaway is rebranding. So if you have one word, it's one rebranding. Rebranding of both the resume and also rebranding of the LinkedIn account. So I guess you saw, right, my LinkedIn account.
I give you my feedback as well.
Yeah, so it's something I changed drastically lah. So I
Correct.
actually implemented it when I was trying to find
Mm.
to jump last year. So I was trying to jump last year, and I actually changed and revamped my resume and LinkedIn as per what you taught me.
So how does it help you?
Yeah, I actually get quite a few interviews, both from the private clinic and also the public hospital side. Yeah,
Roughly
but
how many in
the end, I stayed. I still stay where
all
I
right, all
am.
right.
I still find that where I am is currently still better.
Okay, that's great. At least you got more opportunities flying to you. That's always the best thing that we want. So roughly how many audiologists are there in Singapore?
Roughly, okay, when I
Is
went
it in
in,
the
right, it's
hundreds
about,
range or hundreds
I
plus?
think now it's still in the hundreds range after about
Okay.
4+ years, maybe closer to 200.
Okay, so even in a niche field like your field audiology, so if professional branding, it's even more important, right? Whether it's on LinkedIn or even resume, you will still get potential employers to look at your profile first compared to a few others, right? So you
Yeah,
definitely
the
want
first thing
to.
you look at is resume. Yeah.
Correct. Okay, sounds great. How about like okay, let's just end off this session by asking like what would be your advice in terms of this COVID-19 situation? I know many things have changed. Maybe not as affected your current field, but do you have any career advice for people out there who is facing challenges right now? They could be impacted negatively by the COVID-19 situation or the recession. How would be your advice? Then, given now you have much more experience and you have actually not just sharing from me, learning, not just have learned from me, but also through your experience, you have gained so much. I can see that you have actually do many other things like pursuing your passion in singing and in investing. So how do you now then actually plan for a career, and what would be your general advice for people out there who want to learn from you?
Currently, right, yeah, like what you mentioned, I also did quite a bit of sharing on my own as well to my friends.
Yep.
I feel that in this COVID setting, it has really changed the world.
Yep.
It has changed so many different layer of structures, like social structure, business structure, infrastructure. Everything has changed. But the general theme is either we change, if
Evolve
not,
or
we will
die,
just
right?
die. Yeah,
Evolve or
die
die.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, including personal level and business level, or everything. So there's a
So,
lot
so
of,
even as audiologist, the job is not like guarantee, right? There's no future proof to just holding one job, right?
I think for any kind of job, there's no such thing as a future proof lah. Especially if you are an employee, you are like you are really at the hands of how nice your employer is to you, lor. Yeah,
Yep.
basically the reality, the hard truth is this lah. Even if you own a business, it also depends on your customers, how well they want to buy your stuff. So
Correct.
but it's good to actually have an income, like
Mm-hmm.
active income.
Mm.
At the same time, like you mentioned that I was doing trading as well. So I believe in having a few streams of passive income in case like such thing like recession like COVID takes away my job, be it like and whether I'm employee, I get fired, or whether my
Yep.
business fail, right? I still have passive income, other streams to depend on, and if they're solid enough, then I can actually survive for a period of time while finding other things like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think
trading is one good way.
correct. I think Andrew, you brought a very good point, which I think I shared in my class as well. Like, never see a job as your source of income, because a job is only part of your source of income. Because I have friends in the social worker space, or someone who love like singing, they do full time as a musician, but their income may not be as ideal. Let's say now they can't sing at the bars, right? So they can't go for events, they can't do MC events, for example. So I think it's good for one to always think of like how I can build my different stream of income as part of your job, and then whatever your passion is, whether singing, performing, or even in the audiologist, in your medical field. I think it's important to differentiate what is your professional job and what is your day job income versus other streams of income, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's great. Any one last word to share? If not, I will ask you my favorite question for every session, which is like, do you have any favorite book to recommend to people who want to seek for personal growth, or whether it's like for career or just personal development?
One last thing I would like to mention, just a brief one, is because currently I am very interested in developing something called like holistic living,
Okay.
holistic life. So it encompass not just career and sources, passive income and whatnot. Those are inside as well. So but more of like the mental state as well, and also like a lot of personal development, learning, relationships wise also. Personal relationship with friends, to family, and all that are encompassed inside there. So health as well. So because life is not just about working and income, having
Correct.
money and whatnot. So that's why I also went into singing, which is like a passion, hobby,
Yep.
part of this holistic living, apart from also going to gym and whatnot. So yeah, it's important like in one's life. And then I think one book that I'm currently reading right now is this book.
Nice.
This one.
Cool. The Rules of
Yes.
Life. That's interesting. Okay.
Oh, cannot see.
Can because it's blue color, I think. Yeah, can see.
Yeah, it's called The Rules of Life.
What's your biggest takeaway from this book? Yep.
The biggest takeaway in general is teaching us like in life there are different rules, like social rules, business, like when you're having a career in business, what kind of rules should you observe? I guess
should we also break the rules?
Yeah, sometimes if you have to break the rules, you have to be flexible. Yeah, but it's more of like there are different rules that's invisible lah. So it's quite interesting to have someone to write it out, and actually you reading it, right, you think that, oh yeah, there's such thing, but then actually you did not realize it. Yeah, so I do learn a lot of things from it. But of course some things I have to like see whether it's relevant. I'm not accepting like every single thing. But it's a good book. It's quite interesting.
Sure. So for people who is watching this video right now, you should also check out this book. I should paste a link at the bottom so for you to actually check it out. All right, cool. So thanks Andrew for your time. I appreciate your sharing. I think that is going to help a lot of people, especially for those who is like thinking of like, should I take on a master and should I be just pursuing a passion or not? What's not? So I think your sharing is definitely going to be very helpful, and I should wish you all the best in your career, whether it's like private sector or public sector, right? So wish you all the best and see you again next